محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال سمعت فاطمة أن خال دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت عليك السلام قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالقصاء اليماني فغتيني به فأتيته بالقصاء اليماني فغتيته به وسرت وانظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلأله كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فما كانت إلا ساعته وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه فقلت عليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحتان طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء فأخبر الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله أتأذنوني أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك فدخل معه تحت الكساء فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسين قد أخبر وقال السلام عليك يا أمه فقلت عليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي وقال لي يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحتان طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدة والسلام عليك يا من اختاره الله أتأذنوني لنكون معكما تحت الكساء وقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله وقلت عليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحتان طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عم رسول الله وقلت نعم ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء وأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتأذنوني لأكون معكم تحت الكساء قال له عليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسي وخليفتي وصاحب لواي قد أذنت لك فدخل علي تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد. ثم أتيته نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله أتأذنوني أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي قد أذنت لك فدخلت تحت الكساء ولما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله فترفع الكساء وأومى بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلب لمن سالبهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم إنهم مني وأنا منهم فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنيا ولا أرضا مذحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. وقال الأمير جبريل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ وقال عز وجل وأهل بيت النبوة ومعجن الرسالة ومن فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى فقال جبريل يا ربي تأذنوني لأن أهبط إلى الآن لا أكون معهم سادسا. فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك فأبات الأمير جبريل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنيا ولا أرضا ملحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فلا تأذنوني يا رسول الله. فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمير وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبريل معنا تحت الكساء وقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. فقال علي لأبي رسول الله أخبرني ما نجوس نحاس تحت الكساء من الفن عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الآن وفي جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم رحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. وقال علي رضا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الأحزاب. فقال النبي ثانيا يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني برسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الآن وفي جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيه محبوب إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مهموم إلا وكشف الله همه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وخذ الله حاجته. فقال علي له الله فزنا وسعتنا وكذلك شيعتنا وسعت في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
على محمد وعلي محمد.
محمد وعلي محمد صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وعلي محمد.
आवाज़ बुलंद नारे सलावत। सलाम के चंद बेकार नमाज की जो मजलिस है हज़रत अब्बास अलैहिस्सलाम की शहादत से मंसूब है, उसके हवाले से कुछ आवाज़ बुलंद नारे सलावत। ज़ैग़मे शेरे खुदा अब्बास है सबसे जुदा। ज़ैग़मे शेरे खुदा अब्बास है सबसे जुदा। मुश्किल कुशा ज़ैग़मे शेरे खुदा अब्बास है सबसे जुदा। और है फ़ज़ाइल आपके रूबरू है दरनुमा। है फ़ज़ाइल आपके रूबरू है दरनुमा। पै करे सब्रो रज़ा और पै करे सब्रो रज़ा और दोनों ही कितने शुजा। शेरे खुदा अब्बास है सबसे जुदा। देख कर अंदाज़े जंग अब्बास का सिफ़ीन में। देख कर अंदाज़े जंग अब्बास का सिफ़ीन में। आ गए शायद अली दुश्मन भी ये कहने लगा। शेरे खुदा अब्बास है सबसे जुदा। और हाथ में पानी को लेकर ना पिया अब्बास ने। हाथ में
वफा हमें शेर खुदा अब्बास है सबसे जुदा और हाथों पे अपने है संभाला लड़खड़ाते दीन को हाथों पे अपने है संभाला लड़खड़ाते दीन को कट गए बाजू तेरे पर बच गया दीने खुदा हमें शेरे खुदा अब्बास है सबसे जुदा लगी बाली सकीना देख कर गिरता आलम कहने लगी बाली सकीना देख कर गिरता आलम लौट कर ना आएंगे अब कभी मेरे चचा हमें शेरे खुदा अब्बास है सबसे जुदा जब गिरा घोड़े से गाजी शाह ने रोकर कहा अरे झुक गई मेरी कमर जो ना रहा भाई मेरा हमें शेरे खुदा अब्बास है सबसे जुदा देख कर अब्बास के लाशे को ज़ैनब ने कहा देख कर अब्बास के लाशे को ज़ैनब ने कहा अब हुआ मुझको यकीन छिन जाएगी सर से रिदा हमें शेरे खुदा अब्बास है सबसे जुदा और एक निगाह लुत्फ मुझ पर भी बड़े गाजी मेरे एक निगाह लुत्फ मुझ पर भी बड़े गाजी मेरे और तेरे दर पर सर झुकाए तेरे सर पर सर झुकाए आबिदी भी है खड़ा हमें शेरे खुदा अब्बास है सबसे जुदा बनी का है पिसर जहरा के दिल की है दुआ शेरे खुदा
आवाज़ बुलंद आ रही है
खजाने की जो ज़ीनत हो उसे अरमान उसे अलमास कहते हैं। तमन्ना पानी की जब हो उसे हम प्यास कहते हैं। तमन्ना पानी की जब हो तो उसको प्यास कहते हैं। जहाँ पीते सब पानी उसे कहते हैं हम दरिया। जहाँ पीते सब पानी उसे कहते हैं सब दरिया। जो दरिया को पिलाता हो उसे अब्बास कहते हैं। जो दरिया को पिलाता हो उसे अब्बास कहते हैं। सलावत एक मनक़बत पेश है। मेरे हुसैन का जो भी गुलाम हो जाए, मेरे हुसैन का जो भी गुलाम हो जाए, बोर की तरह से आले मुकाम हो जाए, बोर की तरह से आले मुकाम हो जाए। जो आए के मुकाबिल बने वो शिरो यज़ीद। जो आए के मुकाबिल बने वो शिरो यज़ीद। जिसे ये चाहे सलाम हो जाए, जिसे ये चाहे सलाम हो जाए। वहाँ की मिट्टी भी होती है लायके सजदा, वहाँ की मिट्टी भी होती है लायके सजदा। सरे हुसैन का जिस जा क़याम हो जाए, सरे हुसैन का जिस जा क़याम हो जाए। मैं ज़िक्र शाह से गाफिल हूँ, ये नामुमकिन। मैं ज़िक्र शाह से गाफिल हूँ, ये नामुमकिन। मुझे तो सांस भी लेना हराम हो जाए, मुझे तो सांस भी लेना हराम हो जाए। करे किसी की अगर परवरिश अबू तालिब करे किसी की अगर परवरिश अबू तालिब तो वो रसूल बने या करे किसी की अगर परवरिश अबू तालिब तो वो रसूल बने या इमाम हो जाए बुलाने मुझको ज़ियारत के वास्ते मौला बुला ले मुझको ज़ियारत के वास्ते मौला के ज़ायरीन में मेरा के ज़ायरीन में मेरा नाम हो जाए यूं ही सुनाता रहूं मैं इज़्ज़ते हुसैन सुहेल यूं ही सुनाता रहूं इज़्ज़ते हुसैन सुहेल ये जिंदगी इसी सूरत तमाम हो जाए ये जिंदगी इसी सूरत तमाम हो जाए मेरे हुसैन का जो भी गुलाम हो मोर की तरह से आले मुकाम हो उसके समाता
जरा आगे की तशरीफ
मोहम्मद वाली मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु
देता हूँ कुरान अली कहने से पीर में होती है पहचान अली कहने से पीर में होती है पहचान अली कहने से आदमी बनता है इंसान अली कहने से आदमी बनता है इंसान अली कहने से पहुँचिए सकीना को खबर जब के किसी से पहुँचिए सकीना को खबर जब के किसी से दरिया पे लड़ाई हुई अब्बास से अली से सुनती हूँ के दरिया के किनारे गए अब्बा अरे क्या जानिए के जीते हैं या मारे गए सकीना सलाम है जनाब सईद शहीदी साहब का। मैं ख्याल 20 साल से तो यहाँ पढ़ रहा हूँ मैं, और वो खान साहब की भी फरमाइश है, हशमत के वालिद भी यही पढ़वाया करते थे मुझसे, फिर वही आपके सामने पेश कर रहा हूँ। नारे सलवार। जवा बेहदर सफदर कहाँ से लाओगे जवाब बेहदर सफदर कहाँ से लाओगे मिजाज दाने पैगंबर कभी जो मैदान से पता न पलटा कभी जो मैदान से कहो तुम्हें सगन कहाँ से लाओगे जवाब दर सफर कहाँ से लाओगे ले शाम का लश्कर तो आज भी है मगर शाम का लश्कर तो आज भी मगर करबला के बहत्तर कहाँ से लाओगे वो करबला के बहत्तर कहाँ से लाओगे जवाब दर सफर तजलियों का ये मंजर कहाँ से लाओगे जवाब दर सफर कहाँ से लाओगे रोज़ो हज की कबूलियत की सना उल्फत कहाँ से लाओगे जवाब दर सफर कहाँ से लाओगे नहीं है मर्द कोई तुम में जब बक़ौल नबी नहीं है मर्द कोई तुम में जब बक़ौल नबी बनिंदे दर खैबर कहाँ से लाओगे बनिंदे दर खैबर कहाँ से लाओगे जवाब दर सफर कहाँ से लाओगे मिलेंगे सैकड़ों नावक पे गन तुम्हें लेके मिलेंगे सैकड़ों नावक पे गन तुम्हें लेके कहाँ से लाओगे जवाब दर सफर कहाँ से लाओगे तुराब के दर के सिवा ज़माने में तुराब के दर के सिवा ज़माने में शहीद सजदों का महवर कहाँ से लाओगे जवाब दर सफर कहाँ से लाओगे जिदों ने पैगंबर कहाँ से लाओगे
अब से दरखास्त है कि एक दफ़ा अलहम और 3 दफ़ा कुल पढ़ के
आज हाजिर महफिल के मरहूमीन और आज के स्पॉन्सर्स जो हैं दोनों फैमिली उनके मरहूमीन को बख्शें प्लीज़। मेरे वालिद मरहूम मोहम्मद बाक़ी काज़ी साहब का लिखा हुआ एक मुसद्दस है, इसके चंद मैंने आपके सामने पेश खिदमत है। नज़र पास की नारे सरकार अब्बास जब ना इज़्न लड़ाई का पा सके, अब्बास जब ना इज़्न लड़ाई का पा सके, मुद्दाए दिल था ज़बां पर न ला सके, अरे तूफ़ान चाँद का कदमों में सर टेके चढ़ा सके, दिलो जिगरना किसी को दिखा सके, दिलो जिगरना किसी को दिखा सके, अरमान दिल के दिल में शहादत के रह गए, आँखों से अश्क बह के निदामत के रह गए, आँखों से अश्क बह के निदामत के रह गए, शाहिदी के खड़े थे से ओइने की आवाज़ सुनकर सदाए गिरिया को अब्बास से नामना, बैठे अपने दिल का सकूजा का खराब, बैठे अपने दिल का सकूजा का खराब, में देखो तुम्हें एक शोर में पड़ी है लाडली बेटी हुसैन की, कुछ में पड़ी है लाडली बेटी हुसैन की, होश में सकीना को लेकर ये दी सदा, की कोलो चचा तो पे खुदा, दिखला के सूखे होठ भतीजी ने ये कहानी, जरा सा पाऊं तो दिल डरे चचानी, जरा सा पाऊं तो दिल डरे चचा, आता है हर मुके चाहो जलाल पानी है बंद साकी कौसर की यार, पानी है बंद साकी कौसर की यार, खुदा नहीं रात सकीना पे चचा, ईमान से सलूक ये है के जो को कोई भी गया, खाक उसमें उड़ रही है जो कल तक घर भरा, खाक उस पे उड़ रही है जो कल तक घर भरा, हस्ती है अम्मा नपू भी मुस्कुराती है, बालों पे खाक डाल के आंसू बहाती है, बालों पे खाक डाल के आंसू थाम के अब्बास से बावफा जाएगा ये रात भी तुम पर चचा फिदा तुम कर सकीना का फिर कान में कहानी तुम्हारे वास्ते लाएंगे नैरगानी तुम्हारे वास्ते लाएंगे नैरगानी जगन प्यार तुम्हारी बुझाएंगे जी ये मुँह न किसी को दिखाएंगे जी ये मुँह न किसी को दिखाएंगे को दास देके अब दिल है बेकरार आंसू पोंछ डालो जो कर दियो हमको प्यार को अपने रोके रुलाओ ना बार बार जला दो अपना चचा तो पे हो निसाश की जला दो अपना चचा तो पे हो निसाश बी की मश्क में से हम भर के लाएंगे अपने हाथ पानी की खातिर कटाएंगे अपने हाथ पानी की खातिर कटाएंगे ये गुफ्तगू थी आज जो सुल्तान करबला हम चचा भतीजी को देखा तो ये कहा ने सुना वो प्यार की हमको भी तुम जरा सकी न जाते हैं दरिया पे अब चचा सकी न जाते हैं दरिया पे अब चचा अल्लाह रखे गाजी के जाओ जलाल को जो छुपाता है खैबर के लाल को जो छुपाता है खैबर के लाल को को अपने देख लो सफदर को देख लो बेटी शबी हमजो जाफर को देख लो अपना के सानी हैदर को देख लो भर के इब्ने साखिए कौसर को देख लो भर के इब्ने साखिए कौसर को देख लो जब तक जियोगे हिजर में आंसू बहाओगे चचा को न तुम दे पाओगे अब चचा को न तुम दे पाओगे पर तमाचे खाओगी याद आएंगे चचा सितम में जाओगी याद आएंगे चचा से खून बहाओगी याद आएंगे चचा ना इनको पाओगी याद आएंगे चचा ना इनको पाओगी याद आएंगे चचा पानी के साथ गाजी का खूबी बिखर गया सकीना प्यासी रही सा मर गया सकीना प्यासी रही सा मर गया
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आप सबसे गुजारिश है कि प्लीज कम फॉरवर्ड एज मच एज यू कैन। लाउड सलवात। Little more please, as much as you can. We're expecting more people inshallah tonight. So please move forward as much as you can. Loud salawat for Maulana. Please recite salawat. Also please recite Surah Fatiha for these sponsors of this majlis. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين سيدنا ونبينا وشفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب قلوبنا بالقاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الغر الميامين المعصومين من يومنا هذا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وخطابه المتين، وهو أصدق القائلين وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون. صلوات Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this universe and everything within it for a purpose. And the purpose of our creation is to get to perfection. And in order to facilitate, in order to motivate us towards our journey towards perfection, He instilled in us the love for perfection. We all love perfection. We want to be perfect. This love for perfection is in fact the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself, because He is absolute perfection. It is He that we all seek within ourselves. It is He that all of humanity seeks within themselves. Yes, they might make a mistake in identifying what perfection is. Some people might consider wealth to be perfection and start running in that direction. Some might consider power to be perfection. Some might consider fame to be perfection and therefore start running after power or fame or wealth. But the drive is genuine. The drive is the drive towards perfection. We all love perfection and we want to be perfection. We want to move in the direction of perfection. And we all have been created in a way that we want to submit to a powerful being. This is also part of our nature. This is also part of our fitrah. Man is created with this fitrah to submit to a higher being. That is why you see From the beginning of time till today, man has been worshipping whatever he wants to worship. They might be worshipping stones, trees, sun, stars, animals. According to some, there is not a single thing on the earth that has not been worshipped. And has worshipped everything on the face of earth. So man is a born worshipper. पैदा ही हुआ है इस फितरत के साथ की इबादत करे. The prophets did not come to teach man how to worship. He was already worshipping. They were worshipping idols, they were worshipping whatever they wanted to, animals, trees, suns and stars. They were worshipping. The prophet came to tell them who to worship, whom to worship. He was already worshipping. He was already worshipping. The prophets came to guide him, to inform him that what you are worshipping is not worthy of being worshipped. This is not your perfection. Everything has been created for you. Everything is submitting to you, and you should submit to the one who created you. It is in this submission to the Creator that lies mine and your perfection. It is this journey towards perfection that we have been created for. To submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that submission is the essence of ibadat. That is the essence. Ibadat ki haqiqat ata'at hai. The essence of worship is obedience. Whatever the Creator wants. If He wants me to sit down, that is ibadat. If He wants me to stand up, that would be ibadat. If He wants me to pray 5 times a day, that would be ibadat. Whatever He wishes, submitting to His desires, submitting to His commands, is worship. And that is the path to perfection. It is through this worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that perfection will be accomplished. वो कमाल जो हम सब जिसके तालिब हैं, कब हासिल होगा? जब खुदा के सामने इंसान झुक जाए.
नारे तकबीर.
And it was important, if this is what Allah wants from us, if this is why we have been created, to submit to Allah, to listen to Allah, to act on His commands, then it is important for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to inform us of His commands, to inform us what He wants from us. If I invite all of you to my place for a party, but do not give you the address, do not give you the driving directions, what would you say of me? What kind of invitation is that? We don't even know where to go, what time it is, what are the driving directions. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us for a journey towards perfection, towards Himself, it is important that He should inform us, He should give us the directions. And in order to give us this direction towards perfection, He sent the prophets. The silsila of prophets, the chain of prophets that were sent to inform us of this divine journey and how to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the institution that delivers the driving directions, that delivers the directions to perfection, is called the institution of prophethood. And the institution that protects this direction, this journey, the guidelines to perfection, the institution that has been created to protect these directions, is the institution of imamat. It is the institution of imamat that is there to protect. And it is important that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us everything that is going to take us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to inform us of whatever is going to take us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He should inform us of the shortcuts. He should inform us how to traverse this journey. So anything that is going to help you in your journey towards perfection should be informed. And anything that is going to take you away from perfection should also be informed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your friends in this journey and your enemies in this journey. It is the duty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to inform all of us who are our friends in this journey. Your best friend are the prophets of Allah, the imams, the divinely guided, divinely appointed imams and the awliya of Allah. They are your best friends. And Allah has informed them, Allah has given them miracles so that you can make sure who the divinely appointed prophet is. Not only that, we have been warned who to take as your friends. Because taking or making a wrong friend can lead you end up in hellfire. This is especially important for my younger brothers, the youth who are sitting here. The verse in the Holy Quran which says that on the day of judgment a person will regret. A person will regret on the day of judgment. Ya waylata laytani lam attakhiz fulanan khalila. I wish I had not taken him as my friend. He would regret on the day of judgment. Why? Because it is his friend who took him to the hellfire. So it is very important the friends you make. And according to the tradition, it says that if you do not know of a person's faith, if you do not know if he's a good person or a bad person, if you are in doubt regarding his faith, look at his friends. He will be on the same religion as his friends. So this implies how important it is to make good friends. How important it is to make good friends. Imam Ali al-Islam in Nahj al-Balagha mentions, he says, don't take a bakhil as your friend. Don't make an ahmak person as your friend. Don't make a fasik person. Don't take a fasik person as your friend. Don't take a kazzab person as your friend. He gives the reasons. He says, don't take an ahmak person. We translate ahmak as foolish. But then Islam has its own definitions of certain terms, which might be different from what we understand from those terms. Don't take a foolish person as your friend. Why? Because he will try to help you and instead hurt you. He will try to help you, but instead hurt you. When one of the imams was asked, Ayyun nas ahmak, who is the ahmak from among the people? The imam did not say foolish, but that is what it means. But who is a foolish person? Who is a foolish person? Who do you call a foolish person? In another tradition it says, when it talks of aql, or who is an aql person, Imam says there are 3 signs to find out who an aql person is. Number 1, he answers when he is asked. And sometimes you'll see in class, a teacher will ask one person and others would reply, others would respond. So he waits when he is asked, then he answers. He speaks only when others have nothing to say. So he waits, he doesn't jump in to disclose, to show that I have more knowledge and I'm the first one to answer. He waits. He answers when the nation has nothing to offer, only then he speaks. These are the signs of aqil. And then he says if a person does not have these, there's the third trait as well. He says a person who does not have these 3 traits, he is an ahmak person. He's a foolish person. So, and in the third tradition, when the imam was asked, Ayyun nas ahmak, which of the humans, among the humans is ahmak, is foolish? The imam said, a person who has been fooled by this dunya. Who has been fooled by this dunya. He's looking at this dunya, he's seeing how this dunya has betrayed everyone. This dunya has betrayed its lovers. It has not been sincere to any one of its lovers. Everybody's running after this dunya, yet this dunya is not loyal to any of them. One of my teachers say this statement often. He says the fact that dunya is with you today, the fact that wealth is with you today, means that it is disloyal. Because it was with someone else yesterday. दूसरे के पास थी, उसको छोड़कर आपके पास आई है. It has been disloyal to them. And it will be disloyal to you. And yet if you stick and you start loving this dunya, then you are a foolish person. You see what this dunya has done to others. When Imam Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, after a battle he was entering Kufa with his companions, and there was a graveyard in the back of Kufa. He stopped there. He turned to the cemetery, to the graves, and he addressed them. Ya Ahlal, Ya Ahlal Turba, Ya Ahlal Ghurba, O people of dust, O people of Ghurba, Ya Ahlal Wahda, Ya Ahlal Wahsha, O people of Wahda, O people of Wahsha. Wahsha is where you're traveling in Qatar, it's a station of Wahda. And he says, addressing them, you have left us, and we will surely follow and join you. You took the lead, and we will surely join you. And then he informs them of what has happened in this dunya. He says, as regards to your houses, others are living in your houses. As regards to your wives, they have remarried. As regards to the wealth that you left behind, it has been divided among its inheritors. And he says, this is the news from this dunya. You tell us, what news do you have from that part of the world? Wouldn't we want to know what the dead have to say to us? Because you don't know what is going on the other side. The Amirul Mu'mineen right now is addressing to the dead, informing them of what has taken place, what has transpired in this dunya. He's saying, inform us of what is happening on your side. There was silence. The Imam al-Islam turned to his companions and he said, Lo uzina fil kalam. If they were given the permission to talk, what would they say? Inna khayra zad at-taqwa. This is a message from that side of the world. The best of the provisions is taqwa. That is what is going to help you in your journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Taqwa. The Imam says, do not take an ahmaq person, a person who has been fooled by this dunya. You run after this dunya, it is not going to stay with you. It is with you today, to leave you tomorrow. If it was destined to stay with anybody, it would not have reached you. हमारे हाथों में ना होती आज अगर करार है कि दुनिया किसी एक शख्स के पास चले या जिसके पास जाए उसी के पास है
Allahu Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Nara Risalat. Ya Rasulullah. Nara Hadri. Ya Ali.
So a person who attaches himself to this dunya is an ahmaq person. Who is fooled by this dunya is an ahmaq person. A person, in the story, he came to our first Imam and he said, I have 4 questions to ask. The Imam responded, ask 40, even if you have 40. 4 is not an issue. Ask 40. And he asked a couple of questions, these 4 questions. He says, what is wajib and what is wajib tar? What is wajib and what is more wajib? Number 2, what is near and what is nearer? Nazdeek kya hai? Nazdeek tar kya hai? What is ajeeb? What is strange? Or ajeeb tar kya hai? And what is even more strange? Final question, what is difficult? Mushkil kya hai? Or mushkil tar kya hai? What is even more difficult? The Imam replied, what was the first question? What is wajib? And what is wajib tar? Imam replied, obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wajib. But even more wajib is staying away from sins. इताअत खुदा वाजिब है, लेकिन वाजिब तर गुनाहों से बचना. गुनाहों से बचना वाजिब तर है. Your journey towards Allah cannot start if you do not stop doing sins. You cannot fill your bucket of water if there are holes in it. If there are holes in it, so what is more important? To open the tap or to plug the holes? You first plug the holes and then you fill your bucket with water. So avoiding sins takes priority over
ataat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You must have heard this many times every Ramadan al-Mubarak, and in the holy month there are so many acts that we should do. And at the end of that khutbah Sha'baniyah, the Holy Prophet delivered that sermon introducing the holy month and the deeds that one should do in that holy month. Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam stood up and asked this question, O Prophet of Allah, what is the best deed in this holy month? What is the best deed in this holy month? What was the reply? Staying away from sins. Al-wara' and maharimillah. Staying away from sins is the best deed. He did not say salat or extra hajj or extra charity or helping taking care of the orphans. None of that. Staying away from sins is the first step towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is. And then he said, what is, second question, what is near and what is nearer? What is near? He said, Qiyamah is near. The day of judgment is near. Death is nearer. Death is nearer. The third thing, what is strange? What is even more strange? He said, this dunya is strange. The dunya ajeeb hai. And even more strange is when people get connected and they start loving this dunya. This is even more strange. And final thing, what is difficult and what is even more difficult? Here is the station of the grave. It's difficult. And even more difficult is when you enter the grave without any preparation. That is, बगैर तैयारी के इस मंजिल इतनी मुश्किल मंजिल पे दाखिल हो जाना is even more difficult. So those who love this dunya are ahmaq. Those are the true ahmaq. Not a person who is insane, who has lost his mind and he can't think. He's not a foolish person. A foolish person is the one who has his mind and yet loves this dunya. He sees what is happening around, yet loves this dunya. Like the likes of Umar Saad. The likes of Umar Saad. Imam al-Islam, in one of the narrations we have, the Imam on the day of Ashura invited him for a dialogue, informed him, this dunya is not going to come to you. You're killing me because of the kingdom of Ray. You're not going to get to it. It was the love of this dunya that forced him to come and fight the Imam of the time. It is this love of this dunya that can turn people, that can take people to a stage where they're ready to fight the Imam of the time. And there's a lesson for all of us. If we are loving this dunya, we can end up there. If this love is gradually takes roots in our hearts, if we do not eradicate it. And one of the ways of eradicating this love is the remembrance of death. The remembrance of death. You visit the cemetery and you look at the graves, and that will take away the love of this dunya. It helps in removing of this love of the dunya from us. So that is a very potential danger in one of the traditions. The Holy Prophet says, the root of all sins, hubbud dunya. Hubbud dunya, ra'su kulli khati'atin. The love of the world is the root of all evil. You need to watch out for this. So the Imam says, do not take an ahmaq person as your friend. Don't take now we know who an ahmaq is, who will be deceived by this dunya. He's a foolish person. Why? What will happen? Because he want to help you, but instead hurt you. He said, do not take a bakhil person as your friend. Do not take a miser as your friend. Why? But when you will need him the most, he will stay away from you. When you need him the most, he will stay away from you. And who is the most bakhil person? Imam was asked, who is the abkhalun nas? Who is the most bakhil of the people? Imam replied, a person who does not say salam. Who does not respond to or who does not say salam is an indication, is the most bakhil person. That was not ready even to offer a greeting to somebody, to initiate or to return a greeting. And the third thing, do not take them as your friend. He said, do not take a fasiq person, a deviant person, a person who has left the fold of religion, or who is a sinner, who sins. Do not take him as your friend. was turned into a fasiq person. Why? Because he will make you lose your honor. Those who befriend people who do all sorts of sins, you will lose your respect. You will lose your respect. So be careful who you take as your friends. And finally, do not take a kazzab. Who's a kazzab? A kazzab is a person who's a serial liar, who lies one after the other. Every statement of his is a lie. Kazzab, a serial liar, a person who lies a lot. Do not take him as your friend. Why? Because he will make the distant seem near and the near seem distant. You'll be deceived. The decisions you make based on his input you will be misguided. Who should you take as your friend? Who's your best friend? How would you define your best friend? Your wife? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes. But among humans, how would we?
Whoever takes us towards us.
Who takes us towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is very, a friend of yours who is not taking you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not your friend. It's not your friend. And how is it going to take you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What is the litmus test? How do you know? The Imam says, Ahabbu ikhwani ilayya, my most lovable brother towards me. Who is he? They're my favorite brother, my favorite friend. Ahabbu ikhwani ilayya man ahda ilayya uyubi. Is one who gifts me, who informs me of my defects, of my faults. Who tells me what is wrong with me. Who tells you, bro, get up, go pray. It's time for prayers. If a person has not informed you of your faults, he's not your friend. A person who thinks and always tells you that you're cool, has not even pointed out a single mistake in you, is not your best friend. The Imam says your best friend, Ahabbu ikhwani ilayya. These are criteria. That is why we hold this household dear, because we get such gems from these people. They inform us how to live this life. They inform us who to take as our friends and who to take as our enemies. Ahabbu ikhwani ilayya. My favorite, my best friend is one. Man ahda ilayya, or you be, who informs me, who tells me what my faults are. The tradition says, Al-Mu'min mir'atun li akhihi al-Mu'min. A mu'min is a mirror to a mu'min. What does that mean? A mu'min is a mirror to a mu'min. Mu'min ke aine ka kaam karta hai. What is an aina? What does a mirror do? It shows you your face. It shows you your true face. It shows you all your defects. It does not hide anything from you. It shows you your color, your features, everything, the way they are. And if you leave that mirror and somebody else comes in front of that mirror, it does not disclose your faults to the other person. It hides them. It discloses your faults to you, and then when somebody else comes in front of it, it will inform him of their defects. It is not going to, memorize or save your defects and disclose it to others. And the purer a mirror is, the cleaner a mirror is, the better it will reflect your reality. So the cleaner and purer a moment is, the better it will work in reflecting, in disclosing your faults to you. So it is important, how important it is to pick the right friends. It's very important in our journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the same way, our enemies have to be disclosed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He should inform us who our enemy is and what tricks and techniques they are going to use to deceive us. Who is our greatest enemy? Who is your greatest enemy? Inna shaytana lil insan adubbun mubin. Holy Quran says that shaitan is for a human an open enemy, not a hidden enemy, a manifest enemy, an open enemy. Not only one place. Another place says, Inna shaitan lakum, or innahu lakuma, or inna shaitan lakuma. In 11 places in the Holy Quran, shaitan has been introduced as an open, manifest enemy. He is your enemy. فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. Take him as your enemy. The Holy Quran says, take him as your enemy. Why? Because the Quran knows that a lot of people will still take shaitan as your friends. How old is shaitan? How much do we know about our enemy? Isn't it important to know about your enemy? And how he's going to deceive you, how he's going to take you to... What does shaitan want from us? What does shaitan want? To deviate us, take us to the hellfire. How is he going to do that? How much do we know about shaitan? How much effort have we done to know about shaitan? This is a litmus test for all of us to see how serious we are in our journey towards God. If you're traveling from point A to point B, imagine how careful you are, how much effort you make to get the directions, to study the path, to study the dangers. You travel during the day. If there are robbers and thieves on the way, then the protection that you're going to take. Have we prepared ourselves for our eventual and eternal journey in this manner? While we are so careful in this worldly journey of ours. Are we that important? Do we value our eternal journey as much as this worldly journey? How much do we know shaitan? How old is shaitan? 6,000 years before Adam alayhi salam. And we know at least he is at least as old as Adam alayhi salam because he was there at that time. And in another tradition, it says that he had worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for 6,000 years before that time, before Adam alayhi salam. And in Nahjul Balagha, Imam alayhi salam said that it is not known whether these 6,000 years are 6,000 years of this dunya or that dunya. This is how old shaitan is. This is the age of your enemy. All of our enemies. This is his age. He's been with every nation. He's been with every prophet. How experienced he is now. Imagine his experience, his expertise. He has deceived the likes of Namrud and Fir'aun. He knows every halal of religion and every haram of religion. Only then he can deceive. If he himself does not know what is right and what is wrong, how can he deceive you? Right? So he is also an alim of the religion. The alim deen bhi hai. But he's not acting on the dictates of his knowledge. He's not acting on the dictates of his knowledge. And he has promised, he has threatened Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he's going to deceive all of us. And Karbala is a very obvious example of how people were deceived in Karbala. There were different categories of people who were deceived in different ways. The Holy Quran has revealed his statement when he was thrown out. He turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he said, ثُمَّ لَآتِيَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ وَعَنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ وَعَنْ شَمَائِلِهِمْ وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ. Well, threatening Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's saying, Allah, I'm going to deceive them from the front. I'm going to come and deceive them from the front and from the back. وَعَنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ and from the right hand side. وَعَنْ شَمَائِلِهِمْ and from their left hand side. So all four directions he's going to come and deceive us. And he's threatening Allah. وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ. And Allah, you're not going to find a majority of them to be thankful. This is your enemy. You cannot see him, he can see you. He can whisper to you, you cannot talk to him. He knows you, we don't know him. Or we haven't made an effort to know him. For every child that we have, he has two children. So he exceeds us in numbers as well. He's created from fire, we created from dust. So this is our enemy. What does he mean when he says, I'm going to deceive you from the front? What does it mean? What does it mean when he says, I'm going to deceive you from the right hand? We don't even know that. He has a file, he has done profiling of each and every one of you. He knows how he's going to deceive him, he knows how he's going to deceive him, he knows how he's going to deceive me. And for each one of us, he has a different trick. But you're not going to be deceived the way I'm going to be deceived. I'm not going to be deceived the way you're going to be deceived. So he has prepared a file for each and every one of us. So this person, he's easy. This person is difficult. This person, this is how I'm going to attack him. And yet we have not prepared ourselves. The primary reason is because we have held to the door of Ahlul Bayt, but we have not read their teachings. We have not read what they have to say regarding this verse of the Holy Quran. This is the verse of the Holy Quran, where Shaitan is threatening Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The one I recited is not in the tradition. It is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informing us, disclosing us that Shaitan is your enemy and this is what he's going to do. The reason why we hold to the house of the Ahlul Bayt is because they inform us what he means when he says this is what I'm going to do. Who else can inform you of what Shaitan was thinking other than the family of the Ahlul Bayt? That is why we stick to the household of Ahlul Bayt and we do not go to anyone other than the Ahlul Bayt for the interpretation and meaning of the Holy Quran. We're already out of time. Inshallah, I'll continue this discussion tomorrow. It's a very important discussion. I'll just summarize right now. When Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, please asked, what does it mean when Shaitan says, I'm going to deceive you from the front? Imam says, Imam replies, he meant, أُحَوِّنُ عَلَيْهِمْ أَمْرَ الْآخِرَةِ. I'm going to make the hereafter trivial for them. They will not be concerned for the akhirah. Akhirah will be a little thing for them. I'll belittle akhirah for them. This is one of the tricks of Shaitan. And when he says, I'm going to deceive them from the back, Imam says he meant, أَمُرُهُمْ بِجَمْعِ الْمَالِ وَالْبُخْلِ بِهَا عَنِ الْحُقُوقِ لِتَبْقَى لِوَرَثَتِهِمْ. I'm going to command them to gather wealth, to become a millionaire, to become a billionaire, to set deadlines and milestones for them. أَمُرُهُمْ بِجَمْعِ الْمَالِ, to gather wealth, وَالْبُخْلِ بِهَا عَنِ الْحُقُوقِ, and do not give the rightful duties from that wealth, the wajibat, حُقُوقُ النَّاسِ and حُقُوقُ اللَّهِ. I'll command them to gather wealth and not give the huquq out of that wealth until the time will come that they will leave their wealth for the inheritors. This is what he means. In other words, I will glorify this dunya for them. I'm going to belittle akhirah for them, and I'm going to glorify this dunya for them. And when that happens, when this dunya is glorified for us, and akhirah is belittled for us, and we stand at an intersection where we have to decide between this dunya and akhirah, what will we choose? If dunya is glorified for us, what will we choose? Dunya. This is what happened on Karbala. This is what happened for some of the people, not everybody. This is what happened for some of the people on the day of Karbala. With Umar Saad, when he discussed the situation with his son, and his son advised him not to go to Karbala. He said, I'm finding myself at a crossroads between the hereafter and this dunya. If I do what Yazid asks me to do, I get the kingdom of Ray. But if I don't go, I might enter into heaven. But that comes later. This is cash. That's debit. Or credit, rather. I'll get that later, but this is I'm getting right now. So he chose this dunya over the hereafter. The same happened with Hur. He also found himself at the crossroads. And you find that statement, he said to his friend on the day of Ashur, I'm finding myself between heaven and hell. And I'm not going to choose anything over heaven. So it depends on what is glorified for you. अगर दुनिया हमारी निगाहों में अजीम है, we will fall for shaitan. That is what he's going to do. That is what he's doing. आप देखिए जिस माशरे में हम रह रहे हैं, यहाँ पर सब कुछ दुनिया दुनिया दुनिया. Everything is worldly. And that is where we are being pulled. That is how they are pulling us towards this dunya. And if this dunya has more value, is more valuable, that is why the tradition I mentioned the other day, Imam, in the tradition we find, the Imam says, when you are given a choice between two things, between the amr of this matter of this dunya and the matter of akhirah, and if a person chooses the matter of akhirah, he is the one whom Allah loves. But if you choose the matter of this dunya, then you are the one for whom Allah has no value. There is no manzila for you before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you have a choice between this dunya and akhirah, the likes of Umar Saad, who chooses this dunya over akhirah. And then there's a person who is even worse than this. According to tradition, it says, Sharrun nas man ba'a akhiratahu le dunya. The wicked person is one who sells his akhirah for the sake of this dunya. Like Umar Saad, he sold his akhirah for the sake of this dunya. But the tradition doesn't stop here. It says, وَشَرٌ مِّن ذَلِكَ مَنْ بَاعَ آخِرَتَهُ لِدُنْيَا غَيْرِهِ. The more wicked, even more wicked than this is the person who sells his akhirah for someone else's dunya. He didn't get anything in return in this dunya even. Those who were killed by the companions of Imam Hussain al-Islam on the day of Ashur, they were the ones who had sold their dunya and in return did not get anything in this dunya. Rather, they sold their akhirah for the dunya of Yazid, for the dunya of the likes of Umar Saad. So this is something we need to constantly evaluate. What is it that is glorified for us? Is it this dunya or is it the akhirah? That is what Imam Hussain al-Islam was doing throughout the entire journey. I mentioned this yesterday or the day before yesterday, I'll repeat that again. It is narrated that the Imam did not stop at any station, but he delivered a sermon and he glorified akhirah against this dunya. He informed them of the disloyalty of this dunya. He told them that it is enough to know that this dunya is disloyal, to know that this dunya is such in which the head of Prophet Yahya alayhi salam was presented to a prostitute. It's enough. This is enough to know how the value of this dunya, how unimportant this dunya is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is enough to know. This love, it is this love of this dunya that made the Ahlul Bayt cry a lot on the day of Ashur. Imam Hussain al-Islam cried. It was this love of this dunya which was stopping Imam Hussain al-Islam, which had stopped Imam Hussain al-Islam from entering Kufa. The love of this dunya. On the day of Ashur, there were a lot of occasions which made the Imam weep and cry. One of the occasions was on the day of Ashura, when Imam himself went to the battlefield to advise and admonish the enemy. He asked them to stop. They wouldn't. They would keep shouting and they would make noises so that the Imam could not deliver a speech. The Imam, using his imamat, he made all of them be silent. Everybody was silent. Even the horses and the bells that were in the necks of the horses, even those were silent. They were pin drop silent. And the Imam introduced himself. He told them, he praised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Holy Prophet. He introduced himself. In other words, he was reading the majlis on the day of Ashur. What do you do in a majlis? You start with the hamd and sana of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you start with the fazail of Ahlul Bayt. That is exactly what Imam Hussain did on the day of Ashur. He started with the sana of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he introduced himself and his fazail to them. And have you not seen, have you not heard the Holy Prophet say that Hazan, Sayyidan, Shabab, Ahl al-Jannah, that these are the leaders of paradise? These two, Prophet Hassan and Hussain alayhi salam. And then he allowed them to stop. They again started to whistle and then started to make noises. And the Imam again silenced them and he continued his speech and informed them of the disloyalty of this dunya. He said, this dunya has not been loyal to anyone. If you think that it will be loyal to you, you're mistaken. If you kill me, there is no way back, there is no turning back. Do not do this. Again, in Majlis there is advice. There has to be advice. This is what Imam Hussain is doing. And then when he allowed them to again speak, when he removed his imamah, the divine force that he was using to silence them, to see if anybody has been affected by his speech. When he allowed them to speak, again they started to make a hue and cry. Again the Imam continued his speech. And this time he read his Masaib. He said there were women and children crying in the tents. He said, do you not hear the cries of these women and children? If you're showing no mercy on me, at least have mercy on them. This is the musibat of the Ahlul Bayt. This is the complete majlis that Imam Hussain al-Islam recited on the day of Ashur. And after a majlis is recited, people come and thank you. Sometimes they present you with a gift. A person came forward, he had a stone in his hand, and he hurled the stone towards Imam Hussain al-Salam, which hit the forehead of the Imam, and Imam started to bleed. Imam started to bleed. He returned to the camp, and Lady Zainab Salamullah came out. Imam ordered all other ladies to go back in. Lady Zainab Salamullah came out. She looked at her brother. She started to cry. Oh Imam, did you not inform them who you are? Did you not tell them what your relationship is to the Holy Prophet? क्या आपने अपना तारुफ नहीं कराया था? क्या आपने नहीं बताया था कि आप कौन हैं? आप सिर्फ पैगंबर हैं? The Imam said, I did. Dear lady, dear sister, I did inform them of who I am. But even my preaching is having no effect on them because their stomach is full of haram food. Because their stomach is full of haram. So if the stomachs are full of haram, even the preachings of the likes of Imam Hussain al-Islam will have no effect. This was one moment when Imam Hussain al-Islam cried on the day of Ashura, not for himself, not for his companions, but for the enemy. This is the sign of an Imam who wants everyone, who wants to take everyone to heaven. Even the enemies. He's crying because he's not able to help them. Why? Because their stomachs are full of haram. Such a world is not worthy of living in. Another moment where Imam cried was when, one after the other, the companions of Imam Hussain al-Islam left for the battlefield, and they were offering their lives in the defense of the Imam of their time, until a time came when the Imam saw that Hazrat Abbas al-Islam is standing in front of him with the flag in his hand. The Imam looked at him and he said, Maula, oh my Imam, give me the permission to go to the battlefield. The Imam replied, how can they let you go? You are the flag bearer of my army. आप तो मेरे फौज के अलमदार है, मैं आपको कैसे इजाजत दे दूं? How can I let you go? You are the flag bearer of my army. Hazrat Abbas cried, saying, but my Imam, where is that army? The army is no more. I can no longer live in this dunya. It's very hard for me to live in this dunya. Imam Hussain al-Islam at this moment cried. He cried, and then he gave permission, saying, if you have to go, try to see if you can get some water for the thirsty children of the Ahlul Bayt. The Imam Hazrat Abbas al-Salam went for the battlefield, and it was a norm on that day that when the companions would go to the battlefield, they would first advise and admonish the enemy. Dushman ko nasihat karte the. They advised the enemy, and then they would come back to the Imam to inform them how they advised and what reply came. So Hazrat Abbas al-Salam went and he admonished the enemy, and after a few moments he came back. He came back to the Imam, and they started to inform the Imam of what had happened, what he had mentioned, and how the enemy responded as the conversation was going on. Some Imam Hazrat Abbas al-Islam heard the cries of the children, Al-Atash, Al-Atash, water, water, we are thirsty. Hazrat Abbas could no longer tolerate the cries of the children of Ahlul Bayt. He immediately grabbed the water bag and headed for the river Euphrates. The river was guarded by 4,000 archers. Hazrat Abbas al-Islam cut through the ranks, fighting whoever and destroying whoever came in his way, and he went close to the river Euphrates. The archers aimed their arrows, and they all fired the arrows toward Hazrat Abbas al-Islam. But who could stop Hazrat Abbas al-Islam? He is the son of Ali. He is the son of Ali al-Salam. He was born for this very day. He immediately killed whoever was there. They all fled, and leaving the river Euphrates open for Hazrat Abbas al-Islam. Hazrat Abbas al-Islam Islam jumped into the water. He has the river Euphrates in his control. अपने घोड़े को नहर फरात में डाला, नहर फरात में उतरे. Then he lifted water in his palms. He looked at the water, but he did not drink it. Then he dropped the water back. पानी को वापस नहर फरात में फेंक दिया. Why did he do that? Why did he not drink the water? He himself recites a verse there. एक रजस पढ़ा है मेरे मौला ने, जिसमें बता रहे हैं कि मैंने पानी क्यों नहीं पिया, पानी क्यों नहीं पिया. अपने नफ्स को मुखातिब होकर कहते हैं हाजा हुसैनुन वारिदुल मनूनी. ये हुसैन है जो अभी शहाबे शरबत, जो शरबत शहादत पीने वाला है. This is Hussein who is going to drink from the fountain of death. وتشربين بارد المعين, and you are going to drink from the fountain of water. No. hayhat ma hada fi'al dini. No, this is not what my religion tells me. wala sadiq al-yaqini, and this is not what a truthful person, what a truthful believer will do. He splashed water back. Then he picked up his water bag. He started to fill his water bag with water. When the water was full, when the water bag was full, he decided to go back towards the camp. This is his war trophy. This is his victory. He wants to take the water back to the camps. So he did not go back in the same route that he came from. He took a different path, so that which was free from the enemy. There should be no enemy. He does not want to fight when he goes back, because he wants the water to get back to the tents. So he took a different route. The enemy tried to stop him, but they were not able to stop him. And when they realized that they could not stop him in this manner, they resorted to deception and trickery. They hid themselves behind the palm trees, so that they would attack without telling him, without informing him. As he was rushing back to the camp, as an enemy jumped up from behind the tree and he chopped off his right hand. Hazrat Abbas al-Islam recited a rajas, وَإِن قَطَعْتُمْ يَمِينِي, even if you cut my right hand, I will still defend with all my might the religion of light and my Imam. In fact, a few minutes later, he recited another rajas, pointing to the fact that his left arm has also been chopped off. Now he has no arms to support himself. So he took the water bag and shielded it with his chest. And as he was rushing back, an arrow came and pierced into the water bag. All the water was drained. There is no water left. Now Hazrat Abbas does not know what to do. Should he go back to the refrigerator to fill the water bag again? He has no hands. How would he do that? Should he go back to the camp? How can he do that? There is no water. Hazrat Abbas al-Islam does not know what to do. करे तो क्या करे? न खैमों में जा सकते हैं, न वापस मैदान जंग में जा सकते हैं. सोच रहे हैं, ना उम्मीदी के आलम में खड़े हैं. बारहा जिस तरह जनाब न पास ना उम्मीद हुए, दुनिया में किसी को ना उम्मीद न करना. दुश्मन आता है हाथ में आहनी गुर्ज है. जनाब अब्बास अलैहिस्सलाम के सर पे वार करता है. अरे मौला घोड़े से जमीन पर गिर जाते हैं. तसव्वुर कीजिए वो शख्स जिसके बाजू न हो, एक आंख में तीर लगा हो, जब घोड़े से जमीन पर गिरेगा तो किस तरह से अपने आप को बचाएगा. मामूलन शाहसवार हाथों के बल गिरा करते हैं, लेकिन मेरे मौला के हाथ कलम हो चुके हैं. मेरा दिल कहता है कि बिन्ते नबी ने आगोश में लिया होगा, कहते हुए बेटा मेरी गोद में आ जा. जब गिरे हैं मेरे मौला हुसैन को पुकारा है, या अखी अदरिकनी, मेरे भाई की मदद को पहुंचिए. मेरे मौला आए हैं. ये मौका था कि मेरे मौला ने पुकारा है. अल्लाह इनका सरा ज़हरी, इस वक्त मेरी कमर टूट गई. मेरे मौला की कमर टूट जाती है. पहुंचे हैं. मेरा ये सवाल है कि मेरे मौला को जनाब अब्बास अलैहिस्सलाम ने सारी जिंदगी भाई कहकर नहीं पुकारा, इमाम और आका कहकर पुकारते थे. आखिर क्या हुआ कि जब जीन से गिरे हैं तो या अखी कहा के पुकारा है, या अखी अदरिकनी कहा है. एक आलिम ने बयान किया, कहा शायद इसका राज ये है कि जब घोड़े से गिरे थे तो बिन्ते नबी ने गोद में लिया होगा, ये कहते हुए कि बेटा मेरी आगोश में आ जा. जब फातिमा ने बेटा बना लिया, उसी मुनासिबत से अब हुसैन को भाई कहकर पुकारा. ए भैया भाई की मदद को आइए.
धर्म पास हो गया मरना से
सितम अब्बास का, करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का, हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का, करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का, हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का, करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का, हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का, करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का, हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का, चले जाइए खेमे में ये मशको अलम मौला, दरिया पे हुए मेरे शान भी कलम मौला, ले जाइए खेमे में ये मशको अलम मौला, दरिया पे हुए मेरे शान भी कलम मौला, दिखलाई नहीं देता अब आँख से खादिम के, है आँख में पैवस्ता एक तीरे सितम मौला, ले जाइए खेमे में ये मशको अलम मौला, दरिया पे हुए मेरे शान भी कलम मौला, महजुब सकीना से किस्मत ने किया मुझको, प्यासी रही शहजादी और मर गए हम मौला, ले जाइए खेमे में ये मशको अलम मौला, दरिया पे हुए मेरे शान भी कलम मौला, है वक्त मेरा आखिर जल्द आइए या सरवर, ता देख लो आँखों से हजरत के कदम मौला, ले जाइए मैंने ये मशको अलम मौला, दरिया पे हुए मेरे शान भी कलम मौला, अब वक्त नहीं आगा दीदार दिखा दीजिए, मुश्ताक़ ज़ियारत का है आँख से दम मौला, ले जाइए खेमे ये मशको अलम मौला, दरिया पे हुए मेरे शान भी कलम मौला, रेती पे गिरा हूँ मैं, नरगे में घिरा हूँ मैं, रुक रुक के निकलता है अब सीने से दम मौला, ले जाइए खेमे में ये मशको सकीना अम्मू घर आ जाइए रो रो पुकारी वाली सकीना अम्मू घर आ जाइए रो रो पुकारी वाली सकीना अम्मू घर आ जाइए बाबा जब से रन को सिधारे बाबा जब से रन को सिधारे बैठे हैं दर पर आस लगाए बैठे हैं दर पर आस लगाए इतना ना अब तड़पाइए अम्मू घर आ जाइए अम्मू घर आ जाइए रो रो पुकारी वाली सकीना अम्मू घर आ जाइए अकबर भाई रन से आओ अकबर भाई रन से आओ हम की मारी से मिल जाओ हम की मारी से मिल जाओ सूरत आके दिखाइए अम्मू घर आ जाइए अम्मू घर आ जाइए रो रो पुकारी वाली सकीना अम्मू घर आ जाइए राख हुए सब ख़ीमे जलकर राख हुए सब ख़ीमे जलकर मारे तमाचे शिमरने आकर मारे तमाचे शिमरने आकर से हमको बचाइए अम्मू घर आ जाइए अम्मू घर आ जाइए रो रो पुकारी वाली सकीना अम्मू घर आ जाइए रो रो पुकारी वाली सकीना अम्मू घर आ जाइए जब तक हो रहा चादर ज़ैनब का मुहाफिज
जाने वफ़ाए आलम जाने वफ़ाए आलम अब्बासे अम्मू अब्बासे अम्मू अब्बासे अम्मू अब्बासे अम्मू अब्बासे अम्मू
मश आ गई अब्बास शहर आ गए, मश्क आ गई, अब्बास न लौटे। इस शान से मकतल को सिधारा था अलमदार, इस शान से मकतल को सिधारा था अलमदार। आधा की नजर गई, अब्बास न लौटे, शहर आ गए, मश्क आ गई, अब्बास न लौटे। जब तीर चला जब तीर चला से पानी, अब्बास को शर्मा गई, अब्बास न लौटे, शहर आ गए, मश्क आ गई, अब्बास न लौटे। देती रही आवाज पिया बाज सकिया, देती रही आवाज पिया बाज सकिया। आखिर को कज़ा आ गई, अब्बास न लौटे, शहर आ गए, मश्क आ गई, अब्बास न लौटे। रोने के लिए लाश शबीर पे रन में, रोने के लिए लाश शबीर पे रन में। मेरी दोस्त से माँ आ गई, अब्बास न लौटे, शहर आ गए, मश्क आ गई, अब्बास न लौटे। मकतल की ज़मीन भाग गई, अब्बास न लौटे।
हलचल है फौज शाम में, अब्बास आते हैं, हलचल है फौज शाम में, अब्बास आते हैं, हलचल है फौज शाम में, अब्बास आते हैं, हलचल है फौज शाम में, अब्बास आते हैं। क्या वक्त पड़ गया है मोहम्मद की आल पर, क्या वक्त पड़ गया है मोहम्मद की आल पर। नहीं है या अब्बास, या अब्बास, या सैयदी, अब्बास, या सैयदी, अब्बास, या सैयदी। नहीं है बालों से मुंह को छुपाते हैं, हलचल है फौज शाम में, अब्बास आते हैं, हलचल है फौज शाम में, अब्बास आते हैं, हलचल है फौज शाम में, अब्बास आते हैं। दिल पानी पानी होता है बच्चों का प्यास से, दिल पानी पानी होता है बच्चों का प्यास से, दिल पानी पानी होता है बच्चों का प्यास से। सूखी ज़बान, या अब्बास, या सैयदी, या अब्बास, या सैयदी, या अब्बास, या सैयदी, या अब्बास, या सैयदी। होठों पे असगर फिराते हैं, हलचल है फौज शाम में, अब्बास आते हैं, हलचल है फौज शाम में, अब्बास आते हैं। असगर को माँ सुलाती है चुप चुप के गोद में, असगर को माँ सुलाती है चुप चुप के गोद में, असगर को माँ सुलाती है चुप चुप के गोद में। खैमों को तोड़ तोड़ कर जब तीर आते
हलचल है फौजे शाम में अब्बास आते हैं, हलचल है फौजे शाम में अब्बास आते हैं।
अब्बास लौट के आए, अब्बास लौट के आएगा सकीना, 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 अब्बास लौट के आएगा सकीना। तेरे नाज से उठाएगा सकीना, अब्बास लौट के आएगा सकीना, अब्बास लौट के आएगा सकीना। भाई से विदा हो क्यों फरमाते थे मौला, भाई से विदा हो क्यों फरमाते थे मौला, मेरे घर को बचा देगा सकीना, अब्बास लौट के आएगा सकीना, अब्बास लौट के आएगा सकीना। क्या होगा जरा देर में मालूम है हमको, क्या होगा जरा देर में मालूम है हमको, आलम मेहर से आएगा सकीना, अब्बास लौट के आएगा सकीना, अब्बास लौट के आएगा सकीना। एक शोर है गोरा में बीबी लबी दरिया, एक शोर है गोरा में बीबी लबी दरिया, अब शेर नाचेगा सकीना, अब्बास लौट के आएगा सकीना। देखे मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा, देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा, देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा। दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा ना गम तेरा, दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा ना गम तेरा। देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा, देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा। ज़ैनब की दुआ बनकर एक वक्त वो आएगा, ज़ैनब की दुआ बनकर एक वक्त वो आएगा, ज़ैनब की दुआ बनकर एक वक्त वो आएगा। हर घर में सजा होगा अब्बास अलम तेरा, सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा ना गम तेरा। मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है
जाती है ज़हरा भी ज़ैनब की ज़ियारत को,
जाती है ज़हरा भी ज़ैनब की ज़ियारत को। अब 8 मुहर्रम को उठता है अलम तेरा,
दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा न गम तेरा। देख मेरे गाज़ी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा, देख मेरे गाज़ी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा।
ताबूत जब उठता है शब्बीर का गाज़ी,
ताबूत जब उठता है शब्बीर का गाज़ी,
जब उठता है शब्बीर का गाज़ी। ताबूत के आगे भी चलता है अलम तेरा,
दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा न गम तेरा। देख मेरे गाज़ी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा, देख मेरे गाज़ी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा।
वो कौन से सदमे थे शह टूट गए जिससे,
कैसे से सदमे थे शह टूट गए जिससे।
वो कौन से सदमे थे शह टूट गए जिससे। एक दर्द था ज़ैनब का और दूसरा गम तेरा,
दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा न गम तेरा। देख मेरे गाज़ी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा।
सकीना अब्बास अब्बास
सखाए सकीना अब्बास अब्बास, सखाए सकीना अब्बास अब्बास,
सखाए सकीना
अब्बास अब्बास, सखाए सकीना अब्बास अब्बास।
ज़ैनब का सहारा
अब्बास अब्बास, सखाए सकीना अब्बास अब्बास, सखाए सकीना अब्बास अब्बास।
गानों के तमाशे जो ही खाती थी सकीना, रो रो के कफत तुमको बुलाती थी सकीना। आ जाओ खुदारा
अब्बास अब्बास, सखाए सकीना अब्बास अब्बास, सखाए सकीना अब्बास अब्बास।
तुम थे मेरी चादर के मुहाफिज मेरे भैया, तुम सो गए मैदान में मेरा सिन गया पलटा, सर खुल गया मेरा
अब्बास अब्बास, सखाए सकीना अब्बास अब्बास, सखाए सकीना अब्बास अब्बास।
तुम के दरिया पे हुआ कब था तुम्हारा, ए भैया मगर जैमो तलक पानी लाया, प्यासी है सकीना
सैयदी या अब्बास या 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 सैयदी या मजलूम या सैयदी या अब्बास या सैयदी या मजलूम या सैयदी या अब्बास 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 या सैयदी करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का करते हैं मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का इब्न ज़हरा व वैला 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 वैला सदवा 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 वैला इब्न ज़हरा